Key, am I suffering from narcissistic abuse? This question has come in from my subscribers. Now, if you're asking the question, it means that you're starting to get suspicious. Highly likely, many of my clients, the trigger is usually when we start Googling. We start to Google to try to understand what's going on in the relationship. My assumption is that you might be overgiving or trying excessively and it's not coming back. Or you're beginning to observe and experience difficult behaviors from your partner and now you're baffled. You've started to Google because somehow the problem always seems to be you. One of the ways that narcissistic abuse continues is because they're well-chosen victims, highly agreeable, empathic, go above and beyond people who've often had a traumatic childhood where we didn't get the love that we needed. We give a lot, and depending on your early childhood experience, it may well mean that you have a greater bandwidth to tolerate nonsense. So this is also personal about you. But the fact that you're asking the question means that you're beginning to get curious. Narcissistic abuse is often characterized by a doubting of yourself, questioning of yourself. No matter what you seem to do, it's wrong. And also another typical characteristic is when you challenge them, when you try to express your concern and find resolution, there's always some sort of pushback and a clever flipping, which means sometimes they'll use the information that you've given them as ammo to get you to deflect and doubt yourself. So if you're continuously researching, I think this is a red flag. And if you want to know if you're dating a narcissist, well, I've written a book, Am I Dating a Narcissist? I'll put the link below. Feel free to invest in yourself. You can get that from my website, and that is available immediately for you and also from Amazon. I think one of the most important things when you start to twig, maybe start to journal, just jot down your notes in a safe place where it can't be found in order to give yourself clarity, because one of the things that they do is they can cloud your thoughts, cloud your judgment. Also, get reaching out, talk to people. Now, the challenge is you have to be mindful. Tell your friends, because isolation is also a part of narcissistic abuse. And ensure that you're communicating. Don't shut down. Let people know. And if you get to a point where your friends are bored or your friends are saying you should leave him, he treats you like rubbish, yet you're still in the relationship, that's okay. Because it's difficult for friends who love you. They don't want to see us suffer. But there comes a point where maybe you may benefit from getting some, even if it's just a consultation or have a talk, you can sign up for a talk with me in order to get outside clarity. And like I said, depending on your circle, that may be beneficial for you to seek professional help, because sometimes our friends love us. They don't want us to go through difficult experience, but these relationships are particularly complex. One of the biggest challenges we have, I see this across the board, it's not actually about your head knowledge, because you can read all the books, watch all my videos. But the challenge with narcissism is it hits you specifically. It's very unique to your experience, your situation, sometimes your financial status, your family status, the power dynamics that you're exposed to. What do I mean by power? For example, if you're living in their house, if you're on payroll, for example, if you're not earning your own income, if kids are involved, assets involved. It's not so easy. It's not just straightforward. Sometimes you may need a professional to help you just to get your head around the situation. You know, people who consult with me don't always go into therapy. Sometimes they just need a trusted shoulder, someone to run things by, in order to have clarity and to get an overall sense of what is going on for them. But like I said, if you think you're suffering from narcissistic abuse, there are certain telltale signs. For example, the gaslighting. Nothing is ever their fault. You'll also be dealing with someone who has a very fragile ego. So watch out for that, because that can be perplexing, because they may well put out a big persona to the world. Or you might be dealing with a covert narcissism. So it's quite underhand and very subtle, but manipulative all the same. You may always come away feeling bad or that you've done something wrong. Characteristics for you to pay attention to. And we go into that in this book, Paying Attentions. I've got a chapter here on narcissists in romantic relationships. One of the questions I ask you, one of the things I say here is it's all a facade. Narcissists, it's all a facade. It's a mask, an exceptionally well-developed and honed mask that's been established over many, many years. So if you're starting to notice, one piece of advice I would give you is don't call it out. No one's going to welcome being called a narcissist. So do your research, but be discerning about, providing them with books or telling them that they've got narcissistic tendencies. Generally, that doesn't go down too well. And depending on how robust you are in your situation, that can also be used as ammo against you. So do take care, because a lot of empathic people are often now more frequently, I see this showing up more often, that the narcissistic individual tells the empaths they're narcissists. And because empathic people tend to doubt themselves, depending on where you're at in your journey, because we often, when we've not done the work on ourselves, look outside of ourselves for answers. Because we're incredibly loyal and we may well put faith and trust in another person, that can also be used as a form of manipulation against you. I hope this video has been helpful to you. You've asked, am I suffering from narcissistic abuse? And I hope the content here has given you food for thought, but most importantly, my empath crew, it's so fundamental for you to take action. Research will only take you so far. Keep talking to people. Remember, there are helplines out there. If you're in the UK, the domestic abuse helpline can be helpful. Just run your ideas past people. There's also Samaritans. Run what's going on for you. But I'd also be really interested, feel free to answer back in the emails. What are you starting to experience? Let me know. I've haphazard some hunches here. Potentially depression, anxiety might start to be seeping in, or you're perpetually consumed by them. You can't get them out of your head. That ain't easy. But what you've done by asking is a fundamental step. It means you're starting to go outside of yourself. You're being curious. And that is a wonderful, great place to start. So well done you for having the courage to ask. Do take care of you, because if you don't, no one is coming to save you. You must learn to save your precious self. Peace.